The reveal of the four house common rooms in the new Hogwarts Legacy trailer had to be one of the most epic moments. It's one that I know fans have been so excited to see. Regardless of which house you're in, we have all been waiting to see what is our common room going to look like. Are they going to get it right? And while I have to say across the board, I think they did a phenomenal job, in today's video, we're going to rank the four common rooms. Some tough decisions coming up, guys. It's all good. I'm already prepared for the dislikes because I know I'm going to be taking haters from all sides on this one. And full disclosure here, as most of you who follow the channel know, I'm a Gryffindor, so keep that in mind. Maybe I'm going to grade Gryffindors a little bit more harshly. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And I know some of the folks at Avalanche watch my videos from time to time, so if you guys see this, just know I truly am excited for all four of these. I really do think you did a phenomenal job. But again, tough decisions. We got to make them. And with that, let's get into it. Now, watch as I flash these up on screen very quickly, and you're going to notice something particularly striking, and it's the color palette. You don't even have to see them on screen for very long because your brain is just instantly able to detect the color and thus detect the correct house, even without actually looking at all of the finer details that they put in here. And there are quite a few, which we're going to talk about. But just the color palette alone, they did a phenomenal job with. With Gryffindors, you have kind of the burgundy, red. With Hufflepuff, it's this very earthy brown and some yellows. Ravenclaw, lots of blue, a little bit of brown and bronze, even some silver in there. And then Slytherin, you just have the dark. You can tell it's in the dungeon, but then you also get this green hue over everything. So I love the fact that even without taking into account all the other little details, you can just instantly look at these and know exactly which common room you're looking at. All right, so to start our tier list here, let's begin with Gryffindor. This one's interesting because it is the one that we have most of a visual reference for, given the fact that we have seen these in 8 movies now. We also get very vivid descriptions of this one in the books because that's where Harry spends so much of his time while he's at Hogwarts. So as for Gryffindor, we know their mascot is the lion. The colors are red and gold. So I don't know how Avalanche felt about approaching this one. It's kind of a blessing and a curse when you have all these details. Do you make it exactly like it is in the books and movies? Do you do completely your own thing, or do you settle somewhere in between? And I think that is mostly what they have done here. Right away, you're going to notice these big, comfortable chairs, lots of red in terms of the rug and then the tapestries on the wall, the house banners, then you have the stones, a nice globe right here in the middle. And then over on the left side here, just below the portraits, you can see the armor of a knight here. And so as a Gryffindor myself, I mean, I like this. It feels like home. I don't know that there's anything here that really wows me, to be quite honest with you. And again, I think that's just because we have seen this common room so many times at this point. This one, I do feel like from what we've seen so far, they played it a little bit safe here, which again, it's fine. It's the most familiar common room. You already have so much to work with. So at the end of the day, there's not anything here that I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't like this at all. But again, as a Gryffindor myself, I'll say it feels like home. As for the ranking itself, and again, I reserve the right to change these as we go along. Some might move up, some might move down. But for right now, I'm going to put the Gryffindors at a solid B tier. All right, now let's move to Hufflepuff. Now, this one was obviously a big deal because this is the common room that we have probably seen the least across all of the other common rooms. Harry never visits this common room in the books. We only get very minimal descriptions for it. Now, I've been corrected online because in another video, I said this is the first time we've ever seen the interior of it, but that's actually not true. It's appeared in some other video games and some other artwork online as well. But regardless, it still remains true that this is the one we have seen the least. And I will say, even though I'm not a Hufflepuff, just instantly, I say yes. I mean, as soon as I see this, I say yes, absolutely. This screams Hufflepuff to me. Everything about this. I love the fact that they went with the round doorways. I mean, yeah, maybe it's borrowing from Lord of the Rings a little bit there. We've got that whole Hobbit hole vibe going on, but I am totally here for it. All the plants around, along with this light-colored wood, just give this a very sort of earthy feel. It's very well lit. I also love the little shelves over here, the floating shelves, I guess you would call these, over on the left side. They all have little plants on them. Now, keep in mind, we do know that Hufflepuff is very close to the Hogwarts kitchens. As for Hufflepuff, the mascot, of course, is the badger. The colors are yellow and black. All the Hufflepuffs I've ever met are also just generally gregarious, generally outgoing. And this totally feels like a common room to me where you would want to go and hang out. All sorts of chill vibes here, and I'm absolutely loving this one. Honestly, like, I'm kind of hovering between S tier and A tier. You know what? We may bump it down later, but I'm going to go with S tier for now. I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park with Hufflepuff. Again, maybe it's that newness factor that's influencing me a little bit here because the fact that we have seen this one so little. But I gotta say, I am totally loving what they've done with the Hufflepuff common room here and can't wait to explore more of it. All right, for Ravenclaw, we have the eagle as their mascot, which Hogwarts Legacy got correct, by the way. They did not use a raven. They also got the colors correct, blue and bronze for the house banners on Ravenclaw. So as soon as you take a look at this one, it feels very regal to me. I love the patterns on the floor here. You guys can probably let me know exactly what this is in the comments here, but it looks like some sort of astrology pattern here. And then over on the left, you also have the telescope. Keep in mind, they are in Ravenclaw Tower, so like Gryffindors, Ravenclaws also have a tower. Then you have the little sculpture here on the right. And then the bookshelves. Of course, Ravenclaw's bookshelves have to be featured prominently. And I love the little arch of the doorway right here. And look at this room. The first thing, other than the color, that strikes me about this room is the balance. Just look how carefully balanced this room is. And so I think they did a really good job with the Ravenclaw common room, but I want to see more of this one. I'm kind of hovering between B and A tier, honestly, because part of me wants to give it an A. I think if I see more, it could probably be an A, but for now, I'm going to put it as a B and slightly above the Gryffindor common room here. And finally, we move to the Slytherin common room. Now, this one we haven't seen as much as Gryffindor, but we have seen it quite a bit in the movies. And it's also described in detail in the books as well. And we all know the Slytherin house mascot, of course, is a serpent, with the colors being green and silver. And just instantly looking at it, you totally get a feel that we are absolutely in the dungeons here. It's very dark, except for this light kind of shining through in the middle. And also the seating is very spread out in this one. I don't know, maybe that's to let Slytherins go and sort of plot and plan on their own. I'm not sure exactly. And then over on the top right here, we can see the skull of an animal, possibly a dragon there. I hesitate to even guess because every time I guess something and get it wrong, you guys freak out in the comments. So my apologies if it's not a dragon, whatever it is, some sort of creature there. I love the vibe that gives off though. And this one almost feels a little bit like Ravenclaw to me, and I want to see just a little bit more. Like if we could see over here on the right side, it looks like this opens back up. And then obviously if we could go straight ahead, we'd be able to see a lot more in that direction as well. But I definitely think they nailed the feel for it. Honestly, you know what I think I'm going to do here when it comes to the tier list? I think I'm going to put Slytherin at B, slightly above Gryffindor, and then I'm going to go ahead and move Ravenclaw to A. So let's take a look here and see how I feel about this now. We've got Hufflepuff as the S tier. I think I'll stand by that. I agree. The Hufflepuff by far is the one that I just get the best feel for off this very limited shot that we've seen, which again, it's a very limited glimpse of the common room here. Gryffindor, solid. Ravenclaw, really like what I see. I just want to see even more of it. I'm going to bump it up slightly, though, because I do have it a notch above Slytherin. And I was kind of hesitating between A tier in the first place anyway, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the A tier here. Slytherin and Gryffindor, I'll keep it the B tier. Again, very solid on both of these. But I do think that Gryffindor and Slytherin were probably the hardest to do, mainly because of the fact that you already have so much to work with. You don't want to disappoint fans who have already got something in mind for exactly what they know these common rooms look like, but then you also want to put your own spin on it as well. Now, I know you guys will not hesitate to let me know how wrong I am on all of these, but instead of doing that, how about we do this? How about we change up the formula here a bit, guys? Why don't you let me know one of your favorite features in each of the common rooms? And once you're done with that, you can check out the video on the right side of your screen where we explore 7 of the big questions that I still have about Hogwarts Legacy. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.